Jamie? Okay. All right, good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming out to 1 Million Cups. Sorry about the lengthy break the last several weeks, but of course it's the end of summer and beginning of the school season, so everyone's schedule's a little crazy. So thanks for hanging in there, and thanks for coming back out this morning. Great to see some new faces, some new familiar faces and new faces. So for those of you who are not familiar with 1 Million Cups, we're just going to run through a quick presentation as to what 1 Million Cups is. I want to thank Startup Portal for being our host location for these meetings. So thank you, Startup Portal, which is the facility we're in right now. Thanks to our community sponsor, Magic, who is my employer, the Mid-Atlantic Gigabit Innovation Collaboratory. They do a lot of technology, workforce, education development here in Westminster. And to Furnace Hills Coffee for sponsoring the delicious coffee that we're having this morning. Just as delicious, if not, maybe competing a little bit with our presenter today, HOFFA Beans coffee, but we'll see. And then thank you to, Magic also supplied the scones today from Rare Opportunity Bakery. So those of you who are here are getting to enjoy some of Rare Opportunity scones. Thank you for coming in. So the mission of 1 Million Cups is to lower the barrier for access to education, resources, and connections for entrepreneurs. The mission does not get accomplished without our core principles, our core pillars of the program, which are that these are presentations, not pitches. We don't want anyone to feel like this is like a sales forum. It's about connection, not networking. Culture for the community, by the community. Nobody has ownership of this program. Everyone who is a volunteer to make this happen is just that. They're a volunteer. They're not being paid by 1 Million Cups or the Kauffman Foundation. And we intend to be radically inclusive. We meet every week, or at least we try to, when it's not summer. And it's Wednesdays, always Wednesdays at 9 a.m. 2 presenters whenever possible. Today we have sort of 1.5 presenters, if you will. And then we have, usually the organizations, we try to make sure they're less than 5 years old, just because we want to introduce people to the community, not necessarily businesses that are already well established. But we make exceptions to that rule occasionally, depending on if like an older business has like a new initiative that they want to sort of broadcast and share with people. And then we always end with the question, at least we try to remember to, what can our community do to help you? These are the organizers, myself from Magic, Russ Hammett, Val Giovannioni from Ting, John Wheatman, attorney at law, Tina Thomas from the Infinite Love Project and the Be Kind Signs, Julia Snap from Dirigible Systems, and Gabby Rose also from Magic. All right, with that, we will go ahead and get the next presentation up. Our first presenter, Tom Erb from HOFFA Beans. Let's make sure I got that. Tom, come on up.
All right.
Take it away. The controller is yours.
Thank you, Graham. Well, good morning, everyone. Tom Herb. I'm with the HOFFA Foundation. As you can see, we stand for Healing Opportunity Free from Addiction. And there are 2 words that I saw in Graham's slides there that really resonate with our organization altogether. Connection and community. 2 very powerful words and powerful things that we believe can make impact with what we do out there each and every day. For those that don't know, we're actually in National Recovery Month, and the theme is that recovery is for everyone, right? It's for every person, every family, and every community. And our mission as an organization is to go out there and to ensure that we have sober living facilities within our community, right? To ensure that folks that are in long-term recovery can make daily progress and get back on their feet and go out there and make impact right here in our backyard. The way that this was started, I shared with Graham earlier, our organization was over a cup of coffee. And by the way, we don't compete with any local coffee shop. We love all local stuff. In fact, this coffee that I'm drinking from Furnace Hills is amazing. What this coffee does, along with bringing people together, is ensures that all of the proceeds from the coffee go to the mission, which is the foundation altogether. We haven't gotten to our goal, 1 million cups. We're about 50,000 cups right now. I was doing the math in my head, and how many pounds of coffee that have gone out the door, whether it's through online sales or local stores here, multiplied by number of cups per bag, and we're probably at 50,000 cups. So that's a great goal to achieve one day, is to get 1 million cups out there, because that's 1 million potentially conversations that are happening, connections around community support. So where did this all start from again? I had a younger brother at the young age of 36, 2 years ago, August 18th, passed away from an overdose right here in Carroll County in our backyard. Okay, and of course, growing up in the funeral home business, one right here in Westminster, Fletcher Funeral Home, have one down in Eldersburg, my parents at Sunbrook Funeral Home. We grew up in that world. And so if you could imagine, I was on, and instead of being on one side of the table with my family conducting business, now we're on the other side, right, as, with my brother. And so I was sharing with Graham that we were fortunate enough to be with him every night in the funeral home, but our final moment with my brother, my final moment before we had to cremate him, was over a cup of coffee. Cup of coffee in my hand, empty mug in his hands in the casket, and I had to do something to keep his spirit alive. When that casket closed and I had to take him to the crematory, right away in my mind I had to do something, and that's when this was born right here. What we're finding is that this coffee here, the impact that has already made, again, that certainly funds and supports the foundation, ultimately is raising a ton of awareness. But it has allowed us to evolve the mission and our foundation to where HOFFA, over time, will become a lifestyle, right? So there are different things within the HOFFA overarching umbrella. There's the HOFFA Beans Coffee. Of course, we are proud winners of the Carroll Biz Challenge with HOFFA Beans and Biscuits. And ultimately, the O in HOFFA, the opportunity, that's what we're looking to create. We're looking to create that social enterprise and opportunity for men and women in our community to get back on their feet, to recover, right, and ensure that we've got that housing out there in a much needed way. So what I'd like to share, I've kind of touched on some of this already, a quick little timeline. Really, the startup environment for us, we're at the beginning stage of this thing. We've only been a nonprofit now for one year. We started as a fund underneath the Community Foundation of Carroll County, but officially in August of 2020 became our own 501c3, okay? And in 1 year time, you can kind of follow the path here on where we started with the passing of Jimmy, from the HOFFA Beans Coffee that started almost immediately to the foundation to opening up our first sober living home in Sykesville, Maryland, where we have, since July, a couple of months ago, it's been opened up, and already through connection and community support, we know that we're making a difference out there, and that's the ultimate goal, and that will continue over time. Of course, with the startup, there's always more things that we have in the portfolio, and you can look at this right here, HOFFA Beans and Biscuits, and just imagine this here, right? Not only rolling around the streets of Carroll County and other neighboring counties throughout Maryland, but it's more than just the serving of the amazing coffee and the amazing biscuits, right? This will be a mobile way to bring those conversations out into our community to ultimately break the stigma and make that impact. Something that I really appreciated on Monday night, I think we're here in Westminster, and I would assume, I'm making an assumption of folks that are watching, that there are some Baltimore Ravens fans out there. A few, right? That was a tough situation Monday night to watch that go down against the Las Vegas Raiders. However, I was very impressed and felt very good that night and waking up the next day, because we have, the NFL out there sharing the story, if you were watching before the game, around Darren Waller. For the Las Vegas Raiders and what he went through. And then during the game, they started talking about Max Crosby on the Raiders as well. And so to see others beginning to talk about this out in the community, the bigger community, right, that's what's needed. And so, as the story goes, yes, we started on coffee, and that's our core. However, it's much bigger than that. And through the community support, right, through the community engagement, through communication vehicles like this here at 1 Million Cups, through different events all throughout, we believe we can absolutely make a difference out here in the backyard. So I hope that was helpful for all of you today, and I would love to field some questions.
Thank you very much, Tom. So, feel free, anyone here, just to raise your hand. If you're on Facebook, please, if you post a question in the comments, we will see it and we will read it out loud here in real life to Tom. I just have a question. Who was the genius on your team that came up with the acronym that figured out HOFFA could be an acronym for Healing Opportunity Free from Addiction? It's amazing.
So Jimmy's father, my stepfather Jeff, without hesitation, the day that we knew that we were going to call this HOFFA Beans, our God nicknames growing up, without hesitation, right, within minutes, Jeff said, I got it. What is it, Jeff? Healing Opportunity Free from Addiction. And we all looked at each other like, That's it.
Wow.
So Jimmy's nickname is Jimmy Hoffa?
Yeah, all his buddies, everybody had nicknames, right? I had nicknames, and we all did, and all of his buddies called him that, right?
Okay.
And I could go down the list of some of his buddies' nicknames and kind of all tie into that, but that was his, and we didn't want to let that go. We were like, what? People referred to him as that in his small group of friends. But the one thing, Tina, that's interesting is that when we had his services down in Sykesville, we've been around the funeral business for a long time. The magnitude of just people in general that came out to his service, we had no clue how many people he really impacted in our community. We knew that his network of friends was very diverse, right? But there were so many people that came out that shared stories of him basically, heart of gold and opening up. And so, but his core group called him that. And so we took on and created the acronym, and
That's great.
yeah. And that's again, every word matters here, for sure. This one in particular, most importantly here, the opportunity, we see it as being our main area of focus, with this organization for the men and women.
So if I can ask, I hear you providing opportunity for those in recovery, or helping them to see that recovery is an option. But from a business standpoint, how much do you have the people in the program, so to speak, assisting with the back inner workings business-wise of the foundation and the bean and biscuits and all of that? Have you been set up that way, or do you have more business people running the show trying to help other people? What's the inner workings like?
Yes, it's a great question. So in the beginning, there were people that, of course, understand how to create and set up the business aspect of it. However, the training environment and bringing in those that are in recovery, and even those that are not, that want to be a part of our mission, that is a part of the plan. And so we're going to have things like today, for example, all of the beans in the local Jimmy's Hometown Blend are roasted right here at Pork and Beans, right? However, we know over time we're going to be bringing roasting in-house, and those that are there in recovery will be roasting the beans, packaging the beans, working on the online sales, working on the fulfillment, working on the financial statements around the organization. So every single component of our business over time, we want those in recovery to be a part of that. So started out with some folks that know how to get it going, but the evolution of it and the continuation will be through those that are in recovery and others as well in the community.
Is there any piece of that you've had a specific challenge with that you'd like to share, that you're still having a challenge with, or that you overcome from a business aspect, and how did you do it?
Yeah, I think right now our biggest, one of our biggest opportunities is that we haven't yet set up a subscription model for the coffee. And so people acquire coffee online, a bag or two or three, maybe they grab a HOFFA shirt, piece of apparel, right? And they're repeat customers, and they've told us time and time again, like, hey, can you get that subscription model set up so that I can go ahead and get my bag or two every month coming in and don't have to worry about going back in there? Because you can see gaps in time. People get it, and then a couple months go by, oh, then they get it again, or they go to a local store and they pick it up. So we know that that subscription-based model will make a big difference for sure in our organization. So that's one of the biggest areas right now we're focusing on. We're also focusing on web development right now. If you were to go out to our HOFFABeans.org site, just very basic, simple page, that needs to be redesigned and built back out with the subscription model in there. We're working on our main foundation page as well. So, and then also the tech and the systems. What we've already found is that really measuring the success of the housing and our residents and those types of things have to go into some sort of like CRM. And through neighboring organizations, we have one in Howard County, does a great job. They walked us through how they set theirs up to manage everything. So technology systems, the integrations, and really the process around subscription would be some main areas where we need the most support right now in our main areas of focus.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the group here on Facebook?
Can you talk about the group? I mean, you're running a group home, right?
Yes.
So what's involved with that, and overall?
Yeah. So
how many size-wise, etc.
Absolutely. So the creation of the sober living home, this is all new to me, and thankfully on our board we have members that see addiction through different lenses. Meaning, I experienced loss We have folks on the board in recovery. We have folks on the board with kids in recovery. We have folks on the board that have been working in the recovery world for 10 plus years. And so we're really leaning on them and tapping into their knowledge on how to do these types of things. So everything from, policies and procedures, right? You've got to have structure in the home, right? It's got to make sure everything as far as your intake process and the day-to-day structure, the things that have to be done every day, the curfews, you name it, right? We're dialed in there. Now, we're not perfect by any means, but I'll tell you, because of one specific member on our board that's very knowledgeable about this, thankfully she's a part of this thing and she's helped us out. But there's a lot of things that have to happen. There's risk management, all types of things that you have to do before you can just say, okay, let's acquire a house and get this going, right? So, which that's always a work in progress. We're constantly reviewing that. Although we have monthly board meetings, we have conversations every day with different board members and teammates around the home, because that is our ultimate, I'd say area of focus, right? All this other stuff certainly funnels and feeds the foundation with the community support. We're inside of the home, right? And in fact, I was sharing with the team, some of you folks this morning, that things like the connection piece. On this past Monday evening, every Monday going forward, we learned this from another home down in Rockville, Maryland, called Mike's Place, where every Monday now we're there having dinner with our residents, right? And we're cooking different things and showing them how to do different things. And we're sitting outside around the fire pit, thanks to some local volunteers with Ed in the room here, and the Atlas team came out, and Lowe's right here in Westminster donated all the supplies. These guys and gals came out and built it. We were sitting around that thing for several hours just talking. The text messages from the residents that night that came to me directly to talk about the difference that made, and they can't wait the next Monday. And every single day between now and next Monday, they've got that hope and that thought of, right? I'm in a good place. I'm in a good spot. I'm with people that actually care about what goes on in this house.
That's very nice.
Well, that's a really simple question. Where can I, besides Holmes, where else can we purchase the coffee?
Absolutely. So aside from Holland's Pork and Beans, we have Union Bridge Gift Shop has our stuff in there. Yeah, they've got amazing, not only just the coffee, but they actually took my brother's picture and made a great display in there. And, we all know addiction doesn't discriminate. It impacts different people. So they're doing things beyond just putting us on their shelves. We also have it down at the Unwind Candles in Sykesville. The owners there, big supporters. New Jimmy also, they've got a big display. So those are the local Carroll County places. Just outside of Carroll County, because a lot of people travel down 140, you can find HOFFA Beans at Santoni's. Yeah, which is really cool, right? Because we met with them, and of course, I'm sure a lot of coffee folks go to Santoni's, and they were actually scaling it down. They told us when they heard the story, they didn't even try it. They said, let's put it in here. So it's there. And then also there's a, it's in actually Reisterstown on Berryman's Lane, Farm Chicks Corner Market. Yeah, some of you are familiar with it. The owners there are amazing supporters. There's a lot of it that goes through there. And the reason being is because when people come in and they see this sitting on the shelf, if they don't read the story that's next to it, the owners and the employees of these places, they can speak to the mission behind it and what's going on.
So Tom, you seem like an experienced entrepreneur. Is this your first venture, or what else in your background sort of informs you as a person going, endeavoring on this venture?
Sure. So this is my first experience with being a part of a nonprofit. When coming out of college with the Towson University, I went to work for a company called Lanier, which was a RICO company, and I was there for about 14 years. And in that company, I was able to progress into various leadership roles, learning different technologies, how to build teams, how to lead people, how to put together systems, and learned a lot there, Graham. So I'd say I attribute a lot of it to that company, for being able to help put this together, marketing, all the things that are involved. Currently, I'm with a company called Paycor. Been there for a couple years now. Oversee a team in the Mid-Atlantic region, and we're growing and scaling as well. So I think being a part of a company that's rapidly growing and scaling, and all of the good things and the not so good things that you experience, that experience has helped me out with doing this also. But ultimately the mission part of it, right? The mission part of it, the other members of the board that see addiction through different lenses, as I mentioned earlier, they have been the ones to get us to this point. I'm more of the, let's bring it together, let's be a team, let's, always glass half full, controlling the controllables, the mindset and effort. So that's my part of the pie.
Well, sometimes CEOs are kind of like racehorses, representing their board and their team. And I mean, I have to commend you. I mean, having just come out winning the Carol Biz Challenge, both the People's Choice Award and the main award, you seem like a seasoned public speaker who's just sort of like swimming in this right now. Like it's easy for you.
So this is, it's interesting. People ask all the time, they say, Tom, you work a ton at Paycor, right? And which I do. I mean, every day we're doing different things out there. I do some travel around, and this to me feels like there's no, it's not work. Like this is the passion inside of me that comes out when it comes to this. And so, I really enjoy, right, making an impact with others in the community and hearing those stories that Tom, unsolicited feedback, you made a difference. I said yesterday was National Sober Day. So again, we're in Recovery Month, and it's National Sober Day. And I was happy to announce yesterday that I'm 257 days sober right now. So as of January 1st, I've been sober, and it feels really good, and it's nice to know that I can help others do the same thing.
That's excellent.
This past January 1st?
Yeah.
Oh, me too then.
Yes.
Yay.
Congrats.
Congrats.
Yeah, same day. Thank you.
Do we have any other questions on Facebook? Any other questions from the group here? No? All right. Thank you very much, Tom.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And actually, we're going to just have, instead of a second speaker today, we're going to invite a gentleman who's actually working on a fundraising event with HOFFA Beans, Ed Danatel.
You got it.
Ed Danatel, come on up and just go ahead.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. My name's Ed Danatel, and I am an addict. I've struggled with drugs and alcohol my whole life, probably about 20, 25 years. So a little over half my life. It was probably September 27th of last year that I woke up in the morning feeling terrible from the days and nights before, and it just hit me that the decisions I was making, the things I was doing, were not only affecting and hurting me, myself, but my family, my friends, people around me, my job, and I couldn't do it anymore. So I made the decision to get help and get into a rehabilitation center. My actual sobriety date is September 30th. It took me a couple days to get there. I would say that it's the best decision I've ever made. My relationship with my wife, my family, my other friends, was terrible. My kids didn't even know who I was. I didn't have any relationship with them at all. If I showed up to something, they were like, "Oh, what are you doing here? Oh, thanks for coming by finally," stuff like that. Now I can start seeing the changes. It's a slow process. You just don't jump right back in and things are fixed. But the little things like your kids smiling at you because they know you're there, that you're present, you're listening to them, means the world to me. And I'm very grateful that I have them. And then I made this decision. About 4 months ago, I was just thinking that, about halfway there, 6 months sobriety, 7 months sobriety, I want to do something special. I want to do something different for my year sobriety date. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw a big birthday party, celebration for my 1 year. And I want to give back to the community. So I want to raise some funds and pick a local foundation that deals with addiction and recovery. So I got hooked up with HOFFA through a mutual friend. my counselor for IOP, intense outpatient, got me in touch with them, and we started talking, and it seemed like a good fit. I really commend HOFFA for what they're doing. I think the sober living facility is amazing. I've been there, took a tour of it, and it really provides a place for people in recovery where they feel safe, appreciated, they have guidelines, structure, and someone in recovery really needs that. Getting out of rehab and just getting thrown into the real world, like, there's a lot of stuff coming at you, and you might not know how to deal with it, and your first inclination might be, go get a drink or go get high. So that structure there kind of, keeps them together and keeps them focused. So we got the date set for October 2nd for the party. It's going to be up at Copper Mine, Cascade Lake. We've got a lot of people in the community to help out with food, donations. We have got a band plan. Reptile Invasion's coming out. I have a bunch of snakes, spiders, things that a lot of people might not like, but the kids will love. Face painter, balloon artist, we'll have inflatables, we'll have some field games for the adults. We have food being donated by J&P, MJ, Cafe Bakery. They're donating some pretzels. Got a couple other organizations working on food for us. So it should be, it should be a good family event. I wanted to stress the family part because, as I touched on earlier, my family's the one that suffered from my addiction. And I feel like the family gets hit hard all the time. And I wanted just an opportunity for the families to get together, have some fun. And this gave me a platform to talk about awareness, which I've been doing online, putting some videos out. People need to know that this is a real problem. It's not fake. There's a lot of people that suffer from it. So hopefully this event will bring some awareness and then also bring some hope to others that are struggling, that you can have fun in recovery. You can get through life without a drink. You can get through life without getting high. So hopefully we'll have a good turnout, and we'll be able to raise a decent amount of money to help HOFFA continue their mission.
While you're still up there, Ed, anybody here have questions about his fundraiser or anything else you want to ask him?
Yes, I was wondering, how do you, are there tickets that you get, or is it
Yes.
donation-based? How do we fund, yeah.
It's both. So I'm selling tickets for the event online through Facebook. The event's called Sober Living. It's a public event. It links up to eventbrite.com, where there you can purchase your tickets and you can make a donation to the foundation. All the ticket sales and the donations go right to HOFFA. And then local businesses have made donations of food, services, money to sponsor this event also.
So the main contact info is all on Facebook under Sober Living.
Sober Living, 2 words, SOBERLIVIN.
Sober Living.
Yep, living.
That G. Drop that G. We don't need it. Excellent. And that's so cool about Cascade Lake. I didn't realize they were still open for people to use it.
Yes, so Coppermine bought that probably this past year.
Okay, right after they bought Four Seasons, probably.
Yes.
Or about the same. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Oh, that's so cool. Excellent.
And just to reiterate, you said that you are sober, 1 year?
It'll be 1 year, September 3rd.
So I think that deserves...
Yeah.
I mean, as a working parent, and I'm sure other working parents can sympathize, just having your work, and in some cases being addicted to your work, makes it so that you're not always present for your kids and your family when you get home. And I can only imagine for other addictions how that compounds the problem. So when you said that, it really resonated with me. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Like while I was at work, like I didn't think about getting off and going home and spending time with my kids. I was thinking like, can I get out in time to get to the liquor store? Can I call my guy? That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
I could care less about what they were doing. And it's sad, but that's how powerful this disease can be. It just grabs a hold of you and squeezes.
Well, you're extremely brave for getting up and for confronting it head on like you are. So thank you again.
Thanks. Yep.
Tina, you want to take us out?
Oh my gosh, how do you follow that? That's amazing. So grateful for your story. Thank you so much. I can relate on so many different levels to what you've gone through and where you are now. Breathing this whole new oxygen of how do I navigate this new reality? A lot of people are there. So thank you for sharing your story and for your help with HOFFA. You're doing amazing work. This is so great. I can't wait to tell you all the connections that started singing in my head, knowing that you are holding up the connections that are making this happen. So thank you. Kudos to you. Thank you for your presentation. We are 1 Million Cups. We want to thank the Startup Portal, our network here of entrepreneurs and businesses that help us, the Infinite Love Project, keep afloat and keep our connections going. CFO Rick, Startup Portal, Graham Dodge with Magic. We have our coffee sponsor, Furnace Hills Coffee, doing an awesome job. Thank you to Scones from Rare Opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh, I have yet to be there, but now I've had one. I've had a scone. Uh-oh, here I go. So, and everybody else who connects with us, let's see, sometimes we have one presenter, sometimes we have two, and hey, next week it could be you. We're here for you as an entrepreneur because connection is what helps you get from A to B. If you know this is your passion, but you're not quite sure how to get where you want to go, that's the support that we have here. It's not about sales, it's not about networking, it's about support and connection. So go to 1millioncups.com/Westminster. Sign up to get our emails, sign up to present, and we will see you next week.